everybody on here, and coming to you with this month's video. I am hanging out right now at a small little town called Franklin, Kentucky, believe it or not. I have been all over the place, and so I have not been doing too much in the way of posts, not doing anything extra, at least getting the basics out, but I apologize for that. But the days have been long, and it's been incredible in this journey that I'm taking. I'm almost 2 months into the tour, which is just over 4 months long, and it's amazing. It's amazing the way things have flowed. It has been a gift to see the divine hand, the God's hand in everything along the way. But this month's video, what I want to talk about is something that we have coming up in our codes, something that is happening here kind of right around the end of the month in August and going into September. And in looking at that, what I'm talking about is this aspect that is coming up that's connected to feeling like I just want to walk away from everything. I'm done. I just want to walk away. I don't want any more. And I think more and more people are starting to hit this space. More and more people are getting to a point where they're tired, they're worn out. And this walking away is not always about a quitting. It's not always about a giving up, although sometimes it is, and it's very important for us to discern, are we giving up, or is it about something else? And sometimes the walking away is just a way of telling us, those feelings are a way of telling us that we just need to take a break from things. We just need to pause a little bit. We need to take a little time for ourselves, a little time to disconnect from the situation, the people involved, technology, outside input, and outside influence. And this is so important when we start to look at it, because there can be so many pieces that could be playing into wanting to give up. It could be because we're not getting our own way in something. It could be because things aren't flowing the way we would like, when we would like them to happen, right? We're not resting into the divine timing of the situation or the divine gifts that are in the situation. We might be feeling like we want to give up because other people are not meeting us soul to soul, or we are worn out and exhausted from putting forth so much and not really seeing what we want to see out of what we're doing. So that's another piece. We could also have these aspects going on that are about just being exhausted and worn out in general on the journey. Many people are like that. They've been carrying hard, long paces. I know I've been doing that for quite a while. And there are times that you just wear out and you just think, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it can come through. I'm questioning everything. And just hitting those breaking points in general, where you've just hit those points where there's so much stress involved in the situation, or so much tension, and you've just hit as much as you can hit. You've given as much as you can give, that sort of thing. And so never feel bad about stepping back and taking a break. When you are at these points, there are so many opportunities involved when we hit that breaking point. It's not a giving up so much as it is a listening, a sign to tell you to take the time to stop and listen, to just be in observation, to just be in stillness, to redirect your energy for a little bit. Again, give it a break. And a big part of this coming up right now is asking us to look at particularly where and how we're trying to force something to go through, because that's likely to be one of the biggest sources of our desire to give up at this point, or to walk away from something. And sometimes it's just time to walk away. Sometimes that's it. You just need to redirect course completely in there. And in doing this, when we're trying to force things, we're not working in that natural cycles. We're not bringing enough of nature into what we're doing. And when I say that, that doesn't mean we need to go pull leaves off of things and and bring it inside or things like that. What I mean is about the natural flow, the way nature works, the natural energy currents. And this can be frustrating as well, because we think, well, I've been working with the currents, I've been working with the codes, I've been doing this, I've been doing that. But we need to take that time to get out in nature, to stop and observe nature a little bit, and to see, just be an observation. What is it doing? What is its cycles? What is its natural process? How does it go through things? Because the tree can't force its growth. These sorts of things. And when we stop to look at that, then we want to start and look at, okay, here's natural cycles, here's what I see in natural cycles, here's what I'm observing, and then take that and start to implement that in a parallel way or a very like way to what you're doing. And how can you mimic the cycles of nature? How can you mimic the processes of nature in what you're doing? So when you take that back after taking a little bit of a break, after catching your breath, renewing your mind, renewing your body, all of those good things, doing a little self-care, I think you'll find that things flow a lot smoother. And so the key is really to honor these points and these times when we feel like I just want to walk away from it all. Now, another opportunity that this brings to us when we have these feelings coming up is the opportunity of creating and developing and building celestial insurance. So taking that break to build some celestial insurance. And we do that through even the smallest of things. Any act of kindness, any aspect of compassion that we do, anything that we do in true divine service, anything that we give as a true gift. These are all aspects of developing and using celestial insurance, or creating celestial insurance. And why is that important? Because celestial influence, I'm tongue-tied. Celestial insurance is the thing that is there for us when we need it, when we have not recklessly put ourselves into a bad situation, but we've done something maybe accidentally, mindlessly, and, you know, we just need a get out of jail free, so to say. We just need a give me a break today sort of thing. Well, if we built up celestial insurance, a lot of times that will cover us. And I want to give an example of that. I am constantly doing things for free for people. I am constantly standing in divine service. I'm constantly standing in kindness with people and opening my heart, even when I'm tired, even when I'm exhausted, even when I'm like, can I just disappear for a week? Even when I'm in those spaces, and I continue to do these acts of kindness. It can literally be anything. It could be the smallest of things, from watering plants to, you know, a friend of mine, Jackie, she pulled a turtle out of the road so it wouldn't get run over. It can be, you know, any of these things that are going on. So when I build this celestial insurance up constantly, what that is doing is helping me to get out of what could potentially be a very strong conflict. And it helps me out when I'm maybe too tired one day. And an example of this was while I was on tour, I had just come out of a store that I was visiting and started to head down the road to go meet a friend. And that day had already been a rough day. I had already had at least 5 times that somebody almost hit me with their vehicle. One of them was head on, pulled out in front of me right in the, you know, when I was in the middle of the intersection. That was just the first of the 5 of them, so it was kind of a rough day anyways. But I had pulled out of this shop and I was headed to meet a friend while I'm on the tour, and lo and behold, I mean, it wasn't 2 or 3 blocks after pulling over. Now, you know, mind you, my vehicle doesn't have a very strong pickup. It's a 4-cylinder, it's got a lot of weight in it, and it just doesn't have a high pickup speed. So I'm going down the street, and just a couple of blocks after I pull out of the store, this cop pulls up behind me, and I was starting to, I hadn't seen any speed limit signs, and I just saw one, and I pulled my foot off of the accelerator, realizing I was going too fast, right? And started to pull over into the right-hand lane. And this is street areas. And of course he had his lights on. He wasn't going to let me off. Oh, well, what are you going to do, right? And so, he pulls me over and, comes up to the car and he apologizes. I mean, I apologize to him. I'm like, when he tells me, well, you were speeding. And I go, I'm sorry, I didn't, know what the speed limit was. I was very truthful with him. And I said, as soon as I saw the speed limit sign, I, was doing what I could to slow down my speed. And normally I'm very on top of it, which I am. I normally don't do any heavy speeding because I've learned, Jesse went through enough lessons for my human self and that along the way. And so then I, proceeded to hand him the information and everything. And he's looking at all these boxes in my car and he's like, what are you, a delivery person or something? And I go, no, I'm an author. And then he goes, well, what do you author? And I go, well, I write about living compassionately. It's like a daily guidebook, and I write about living compassionately. And so he just kind of took my license back, and quickest I've ever seen a police officer return a license. And usually it takes a lot longer than that for the checks to come back. And so he came back. He says, I'm just going to give you a warning on things. Well, I share this story because the example is, had I not built up a celestial insurance, and like every time I go by accidents or anything like that, I always put out there, oh my gosh, that's too bad, that sucks, and I certainly hope things get better for these people. And in doing that, it's a lot of preventative care in its own way, because you prevent yourself from having to experience that. When you go, oh, serves that person right, the next thing you know, you're the one that's in that situation. So anyways, I figure, it was probably pretty hard for him to write a ticket to somebody who writes about compassion. For one, who was being so nice, accepting responsibility in the situation, and, being calm and everything like that. And so, but it was that celestial insurance that I constantly am building up in my life that I believe really helped get me out of the situation. And that's what it's about. So, this is a powerful tool that can turn a lot of things around. When we come into service, when we focus on things that can build celestial insurance, when we take time out for ourselves, we respect those warnings that are coming with, hey, I want to walk away from something, and take the time to do the reflection, take the time to do our work, then we're going to create a different flow. We're going to create different outcomes. Right then and there, we are making a decision to shift the situation. So it's completely up to you to work on that and to do that. I just wanted to share these insights for this month because I think it's going to be helpful moving forward. And if you hit those points, then certainly take the time and just build up a little celestial insurance. Take the time to disconnect. Take the time to observe nature and figure out how you can put nature's flows into what you're doing. Take care, everybody. I will see you next month.